Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Food Preservation Chat with Anna from Fermented Homestead, Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry, and me, I'm Lisa from Sutton's Days. Howdy, howdy. Okay. Oh, God, that sounds like somebody else. Anyway,
Hey, everybody.
yeah. And so I see there's people in the chat, and I see that Antsy in Sweden is making sauerkraut. If you make a large batch, can you, when it's ready, put the kraut in jars and can it?
Yes. Ball has a Ball, I think Ball, but most definitely the National Center for Home Food Preservation has exact instructions on that, as well as I have a video from January of 2024 on how to do it.
But I'm going to ask, just because this is still not something I know how to do well, if you can it, aren't you killing all the good stuff about doing the sauerkraut?
You're not killing all the good stuff. You are killing the live probiotics and the vitamin C. But there are still lots of other benefits that remain.
Okay. Darcy's still there. She's
turned into a big D.
Hello, Dad. Okay. So I got a bushel of 40 pounds of Cortland apples. Congratulations. Trying to come up with enough ways to use these all up. Any suggestions? I'm interested in apple pie filling, apple butter, and just general eating. Cortland apples are a phenomenal pie apple. They're awesome. And I found out this year that Cortland apples are actually what I have in my yard. Yeah, I never knew what kind they were. So those are super, super good for pies. So you can do the apple pie, the caramel apple pie jam.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so good. Apple pie filling, apple butter will use up a phenomenal amount of apples.
It will, and it's worth it.
Is it? I'm not an apple butter person, so I'm kind of like.
I wasn't until I tried it, and then I was like, "Good Lord Almighty, this is like a whole apple pie on one spoonful." It was so good.
We just had a salted caramel apple butter this week that is like to die for. It's super sweet, Lisa. I mean, it's like super sweet. I would love to try a version of it that isn't so sweet.
Yeah,
it would taste better to me, but it was still really good. Like it is. It's amazing.
Wow. Okay, that would be good. Hello, Sven. I put up 5 dozen pints this week of beef and chicken soup. Also did 20 small jars of food for my doggy. Very good, Pat. Very good. It's Stocktober, everybody. You guys are doing Stocktober, right? Yeah. Okay, Blazing Sun is making sourdough at the moment.
Nice.
Southern England is in the house. Tennessee Brigade. If you can find directions from a trusted and reliable source, then I say go for it. Otherwise, no.
Why would you want to can leftover pizza?
Because they're just being that way. Okay.
Get a freeze dryer.
Yeah.
Even then, have you ever had freeze dried pizza yet?
Ew.
I just can't even imagine that either.
Oh no, I haven't had it. I don't eat that stuff. But like, I can't. Can you imagine what on earth would the texture of a canned pizza be?
No.
Ugh.
Somebody being goofy. Okay. Let's see. Canning goat meat and French onion soup this week. Nice. Very good. I have my dad's crock that he used to make sauerkraut with cabbage from his garden. I'm going to get ready to do apples to steam juice the peels and cores. It's going to be the first time I've used the steam juicer. Also love Cortland apples. Nice. Finland is in the house. Hello. We are near and far today. But 1,000 pounds, 1,000 pounds culled sweet potatoes. What is your favorite way to use them? I have a root cellar to store them.
What's culled sweet potatoes?
1,000 pounds?
1,000 pounds of sweet potatoes.
I can't even fathom that. That's like an entire produce truck full.
Yeah. Actually, it's not as big as you would think. It's not as big as you would think.
A case is 50 pounds.
It's right. So it's not, it adds up quick. Kind of like a bag of feed is 50 pounds, but a
pallet is 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. So it's not as big as you think, but it's still a lot, which is cool. I wish I had a root cellar. Could you explain cull for Darcy?
Thank you very much.
It's the term. Anyway, but I would love a root cellar, but we have too high of a water table here, so but I can them.
I like to dehydrate them because I like to have the slices that you can do like potatoes are gotten from and things like that when you're trying to use sweet potato slices. But I also mash them and dry them and have sweet potato powder because I'm the only one who likes smashed sweet potatoes in our house. So I have it there for me for whenever I want it to have as a quick side dish when I'm not eating what they're eating for that night, or I need to add a little bit more to mine. And it makes it easy to do in a heartbeat for me. But that's some processing versus just storing them like that. But roasted cubed, love them.
I just like them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got like 6 of them sitting on my counter, but they're so big that I'm trying to figure out what to do with them. I want to learn how to pressure can meat. Hi, welcome to Sutton's Days. We will hook you up. I have a whole playlist there for learning how to can meat. Check it out. Okay, look at that. Have 2 jars of peppers fermenting. Can't wait to try them.
Yummy.
Okay, so I was I drove a friend to have a procedure yesterday afternoon, and we were talking about fermenting versus pickling. So,
Melissa, get on the ball. Sorry, go ahead.
How would you explain the difference between fermenting versus pickling?
Well, pickling typically is sweeter. You are taking the pickles, the peppers. Sometimes you're par cooking them, sometimes you're not. But you're basically pouring over a hot vinegar brine, and the vinegar is what preserves it. That is where the acidity comes from. Mm-hmm. When you're fermenting, you do the raw vegetables, you put them in the jar, and then you top them with just a salt brine with water. It's just like a 2 to 3% salt brine. And you pour that over and you cover it. And you want to cut off the oxygen to it and you leave it on the counter. And the naturally present bacteria that are on those peppers is what is going to munch away the carbohydrates that are in those peppers and turn them into the acid that will preserve it.
Okay.
So it creates its own acidity.
Yeah. I'm going to send this to her.
Yeah, cool. Both are good. Okay. They're both good, but they just have.
But they are different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to can sauerkraut, or can you just keep it as it is in jars?
You can keep it as it is in the jars in cold storage.
Okay. Vacuum sealing some chocolate, working on quarts of beef stew. Nice. What is your favorite Thrive Life meal? The one that I make myself. I just had chicken in broth. I mean, literally, I don't buy the meals. I don't care who makes them. I don't buy the meals. You can do better making up your own. I'll be canning sweet potatoes for the first time this year. Any tips? Yes. Keep your expectations in check.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? They are soft. They're
going to be soft.
They are very, very, very soft. So if you expect anything other than very, very, very soft, you're going to be very, very disappointed. Okay. So you might be better off freezing them if that's an issue.
But if you're really careful, you can saute them so that you can get some hard sides to them as you do it, and a little bit of butter.
I do that, but it is a challenge. It has to be a high heat, really and what you're doing is you're caramelizing the ends of them. But it is a challenge to get them not to break up on you. But oh my gosh, those are so good.
Putting them in the air fryer does that too.
But they break up. I mean, they're so soft canned that they would break up.
And you can also just you can put them together and make almost like a patty, and then you could fry them, and that would
you could do that too.
That would be an idea. Yeah. Look at that. Sven is inspiring people all over the place with his windowsill tomatoes, 4th floor. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, I'm getting ready to can applesauce. Can you use monk fruit? No, you cannot. But you can it without sugar. You don't have to add sugar, but you cannot add artificial sugar. Okay.
Because artificial sugar is considered a dry ingredient and regular sugar is considered a wet ingredient. So it will throw off the water placement.
And it doesn't do the same thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't do the same thing. Sugar it enhances the flavor and retains the color.
Uh-huh.
And the other stuff does not. So your fruit whatever you're making will turn brown in the jar in about 6 months or less, Where am I at? Okay, everyone's busy doing all kinds of stuff. Is there anything you can't? Yes.
Yeah, there's lots you can't.
There's a lot. Not everything belongs in a jar. Yeah, pizza for one. It's easier for you to go to the National Center for Home Food Preservation and look at all the things that you can. Okay. And some requires pressure canning and some requires water bath canning. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, whether you're Amish, Mennonite, or anything else, those rules still apply. So. Hi, Lisa's here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, I saw that post, didn't I? $75 for 1,000 pounds of sweet potatoes.
That's amazing.
No wonder you got 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, I'd have bought it too. Yeah.
I wouldn't, but I'd be more power to you.
Yep. Oh, hey, Melissa. Okay, I'm getting caught up. Going to try my hand at dehydrating hash browns for the first time. You got any tip, Darce?
Yeah, what kind of hash browns? If you're doing the hash browns that are already formed, that's got too much oil in it, don't do them. But if they're the shredded hash browns, go for it. Just remember that to look at the ingredients list, if your ingredient has oil at the top, it's not going to be reliably shelf stable for long. So don't think that you're going to put it up forever. But if it doesn't have it in one of the top ingredients, it's a little bit of oil in it, it will be just fine. We've got ours stored for a long time, so they'll be fine.
Okay. Darcy, dry sweet potatoes
No. Go watch my video. You'll have to go to my channel. Go look at the because I can't link easily. Go look at the search bar and put in sweet potato, and I would just walk through the entire procedure doing all of it, like drying the chips, and then doing the mashed. So it's
nice. Sparrow's making apple cider vinegar. I just finished drying some spinach, but realized that a lot of the stems weren't dry. So I had to pick through them and pull out a bunch. Do you pick off the stems or just dry longer?
You just dry all of it longer. Don't bother picking through stuff. Just leave it until it's all done. Don't waste your time.
Okay. Do you dry sweet potatoes and
food process it? Not with the food processors. I use a blender. Food processors don't powder things the same way that a blender does. The physics of how it works to move the food makes a food processor less good. Is it less efficient in order to powder things? So I use blenders.
Cull is ugly vegetables.
Ugly vegetables. Okay.
Yep.
I hadn't heard that term before.
Unsellable product. So it's like ugly carrots that I get for deer carrots or whatever. I just call them ugly because they taste so good. How do I get over the fear of botulism? This is the reason I don't can food as of yet. I'm going to be your hard ass aunt, okay? You get into a car that has a better chance of killing you than botulism. Follow the process, trust the process, don't waver off of tested recipes, and you'll have perfectly good food. And honestly, there's a better chance that your car will take you out, okay?
Significantly.
Yeah.
I've done the research.
There's nothing to fear there at all.
You could also do the research, go to the CDC website and look up botulism poisoning cases. Every case that was from a canned food was just stupid people doing stupid.
And that's it. It's people doing stupid stuff. That one just recently that I did a video on, they were canning, I think it was some kind of fungus or something. I don't remember, but it's something that has no right being put in a jar. They fed it to their family at a family reunion in California, and people ended up in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Didn't a couple die?
I'm not sure if somebody died, but I do know that somebody came very, very close.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And it's nothing says I love you like here,
here's some botulism.
Yeah. Follow the process, trust the process. If you can drive a car, you can safely put up food.
Don't follow any rebel canning Facebook groups.
I mean, seriously.
Or YouTube channels.
Kick you off.
Or YouTube channels or anything. I mean, TikTok and, anything.
Or even Google searches. Where they're telling you it's perfectly fine to do it. Ignore the rules because the rules don't matter.
And I got news for you. Who was it? Linda from Chulilu was talking about how Martha Stewart rebel canned something and had a thing on it. It's like, okay, wait a minute. There's people out there. They don't have to pay your medical bills. So just do your due the way you're supposed to. Okay. I'm going to catch up here. Link Lady in 4. So that's funny. Okay. I procrastinated and now my peppers are turning red. Any ideas on what to do with them?
Dehydrate them. Powder. That's your chili powder right there.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
I mean,
ferment
seriously.
it. Ferment it and turn it into hot sauce.
I would just dice them and use them. But you know,
She has a lot of them though.
I don't know.
It's hard to use them fast.
Then you put them in the freezer. Where's the best place to get pickling lime?
Amazon? I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest. Yeah.
What do you even do with pickling lime?
Pickle?
But why do you need lime to pickle? I don't use lime.
I don't know.
I'm confused. I know you can preserve eggs or something with it, but that's all I know.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
isn't
is
that
that
what
what
you
you're
have to use
talking about?
for? Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
None
None of that is tested. None of that
Yeah.
is proven to be safe. All of that is a shot in the dark and twirling the thing with the bullets in it. Okay, so you do you. I'm not going to help you do that to yourself. I love fermented green beans, she says.
Me too, but they're just a pain in the butt to make, so I don't make them. I hate doing the green beans.
You hate to?
I hate them.
You just hate green beans?
No, I just hate producing. I just hate chopping them and cutting off the ends. It's so tedious.
It is. Yep. I love fermented green beans. My husband does not, but he loves soup. If I add the fermented green beans to soup, will they lose the health benefits?
It depends on how hot it is, and it will lose probably about half of the health benefits, but you'll still have a lot left over, and you can help them get accustomed to the flavor of fermented green beans.
Will you still taste the fermentation in the soup?
A little bit, but it's going to be diluted so much it'll just be something like in the background, almost just like an umami kind of flavor. It depends on how much she uses. I mean, really.
Darcy, where can we find that caramel salt apple butter recipe?
At Aldi.
Oh, all day.
It was in their fall section, and I love all the fall things. So we brought it home.
She's an Aldi freak. Okay, purist for all things fall, pumpkin, yeah, and apparently caramel salted apple butter. If you're calculating your need for storing water for prepping, please include extra for rehydrating your food. Yes. Yeah,
yep.
We got that. Hello, Renee.
Most of the time, that's probably the water you're going to already be cooking in anyway.
Exactly. So, yeah.
I mean, you're cooking. Use it for cooking, so you don't really have to do extra just for that.
I know, but there's a overthinking. There's an overthinking that's occurring right now with water talk. Okay, so I use store-bought canned tomatoes to pressure can soup. It has a metallic, thinner taste. Why? Because it's store-bought.
Yeah. And if they were older, they tend to start getting tinnier tasting the older they are.
Yeah, get it in glass jars if you want to store it.
Yep. Hey, Chris, thank you for becoming a pantry pal. Good to see you.
Hi,
North
Chris.
Star Prep Stutter. Good afternoon,
I haven't seen you forever.
I know, it's been a long time, right?
I've
been canning tomatoes and squash and running my freeze dryer like a champ. How are all of you?
Good.
I'm
busy.
terminally insane. Yeah, it's a busy time of year. On the
time
subject of
everything.
potatoes, is there a way to make homemade mashed potato flakes, Darcy?
Yes, you cook them without any fats. You dry them, and then you don't powder them like to death, but you do it that way, and then that's how you get them. You don't use fat in them, and you don't try to go from like potato rounds, like dry potato rounds, and then try to powder them and make the mashed potatoes. You want to go from mashed potato to mashed potato flakes.
Gotcha. Okay. How to preserve flour and sugar? Does it need? Don't freeze it. Please stop freezing stuff, people. Okay. So one, sugar never needs to be frozen, and you do not vacuum seal it because it will turn into a brick. So put it into an airtight container and call it good. Flour, I don't freeze. I never freeze it, but I do put it into airtight containers, and it's never around long enough for me to worry about critters. If you're looking to hold on to it for an extensively long time, sure, put it in the freezer. Keep it in the freezer until you're ready to use it. Otherwise, you're introducing moisture to a dry ingredient that you don't want to be moist. Flour has tops, best bet outside of a freezer, 2-year shelf life before it goes rancid. Okay, so it's not a long-term thing, but everything should be in an airtight container. Oh, look at Lisa is binge watching Darcy. Live at 675 square foot apartment in Florida, but I'm determined to have mega food and water and 50 gallons stored in my hall closet. And my Kasori just arrived today.
Woohoo! Have fun with it.
I think I might be interested in dehydrating those sweet potatoes. Now I'm going to have to go watch your video.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing to.
Why? How do you eat them other than
mash?
Oh yeah, then do the mash because
yeah,
I can just whip up a side serving for me with no problem.
And that's what I'm thinking is I don't have to deal with because I literally am still in the mindset of my favorite time is fall.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite time is fall because it has the size of your head sweet potatoes or the size of your head cabbages, and I'm just like, they're so beautiful. I must own them. And then I have to figure out what to do with them. Yeah. And I have dehydrated cabbage coming out of my ears. And those sweet potatoes are gorgeous. But literally, I'm going to do that, Darcy.
I'm just like slice them in thirds and just have them like baked? That's how I usually do it. When we get the ones that are really big, I just either cut them in half or in thirds for Dad and I and just make baked.
There's 2 people in this house and I can't eat a half.
Can you do a third?
Maybe it's pushing it. Not if I'm eating anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Florida. Elbow cough. That's funny. Canning field carrots. I'm telling you. Yes. Those are like the best carrots ever. I want to can Caribbean root vegetables, plantain, green banana, yucca, cassava. You would not process them until you find an approved method from an approved source to do it. They are not potatoes or squash or carrots.
So they're not even close. Yep.
You can't can them for that time.
Different density, different pH level.
Different everything. So yeah.
Dry cooler. Don't ever dry your tomatoes at 145. I don't know what book you're reading. Stop reading that book. Tomatoes will burn at 145 if the sugar content is high. Dry it 135 or below. I keep mine around 115 to 125.
Okay. And Anna, what is a good recipe to ferment hot peppers to make fermented hot sauce?
It's hard to go wrong. I mean, it really depends on what kind of peppers you have is going to determine what is the end product. You basically, what I do with whatever pepper I have, I just take it, I put it in a jar, I add a little bit of onions. Well, I mean, you cut off the stem end, but leave the rest kind of intact just to make sure that the brine can penetrate through the inside. You don't want the seeds to go everywhere, so you want to make sure the brine can go on the inside. Put a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onions in there, make sure everything's submerged under the brine, leave it front end on the counter for as long as you want to, take it out, strain it out, blend up the peppers, and then add in enough brine from that ferment to get it to the consistency you want, and then you're done.
That sounds ridiculously easy.
It's really easy. And just make sure that you don't puree it before you ferment it. Otherwise, you're just going to be fighting a losing battle with calm yeast.
Okay. Can you can pumpkin if it's cut up? You cube it up and you can can it. Yeah, look in the National Center for Home Food Preservation and there's directions for it. It's a great way to have it around. Yes, that's right. That's what it was, Melissa. Yep. That's what took a family out. Okay. I have pulled all the green tomatoes out of the garden. I want to make green tomato chili with them with meat and bean. Have you done this and is it safe for canning? Are you referring to a safe canning recipe that you're aware of? Because without that, I can't tell you, quite honestly. Okay. I know the National Center, I believe they have a green, I'm going through my brain right now. I think they have a green tomato chili. So look it up at the National Center and you can go from there.
Otherwise, you can just like can things separately as approved.
Do the ingredients, right?
Find them.
Yeah. Do the ingredients. Yeah.
It ain't worth the risk.
Well, and I mean, the thing is like so back on this, where'd that go? Back on this green tomato chili. I mean, theoretically, there's nothing in there, for argument's sake, okay, that if you can it for 75 minutes for a pint, that you're not going to annihilate. The issue is that you're probably going to annihilate it. So it may be a quality issue over a safety issue, and with some things, that is the case. It's quality, not safety. So you're going to have to look it up and see if you can find something. I love that somebody said that, in the UK, cull vegetables are called wonky veg.
I want to use that.
I just call them ugly, but I think I thought Darcy, when I said that, immediately started smiling because Darcy loves all things UK. So, I like wonky veg. That works. Yes, ugly chicken is a super easy place to start. Thank you. What am I? I am no nonsense. We use a word that sounds like a witch, but anyway, in the UK, we call unsellable veg rejected by supermen. Yeah, wonky. Okay, so we have another. Darcy is the best at explaining dehydrating. Da, 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 da.
Agreed.
Thanks.
I don't understand how juicing carrots are different than any other carrot.
Maybe you juice it juice it and then can the leftover pulp.
I mean,
no.
Can you juice canned carrots? Would you want to?
Wouldn't it burn?
You can always dehydrate the leftover.
It's really sweet.
Yeah, you can dehydrate the pulp and use it later that way, but you can definitely dehydrate the pulp.
Yeah. Okay. Buttons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can reuse your lids as long as you don't, when you're taking them off, you're gentle with them, so you're not bending any of it. But yeah, reuse them for everything other than canning.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's what I use them for fermenting.
Well, yeah, anything other than canning.
You can't use them for canning. Yeah. Yes, Shelley, natural selection. I am a huge advocate. Boop, 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 boop. My dehydrator is running 24/7 right now. I've foraged for funnel chanterelles, and I've gotten a lot of them.
Good for you.
Cucumber chips. Nice. There you go.
I use a lot of ranch dressing on them too. Homemade ranch dressing powder on them.
It's so good.
Yep.
It's good with zucchini too.
Yep.
No, you cannot water bath can mushrooms.
Oh, no. Pickled. You can pickle them in can if there's a
recipe. Yeah. All right.
Those are really good.
Is there pickling?
I believe there is a pickling recipe.
I'll have to go looking through the pickling ones. Yeah.
If you can find an approved one for pickling, yes, you could water bath can it. How about that?
Yeah. Freeze it. Freeze your basil.
Yeah, for pesto.
That's a loud cup. So freeze your basil for pesto later.
Sorry.
Bong, bong,
Sorry.
I pulled 5 pints of chili. Okay, I pulled 5 pints of chili from the canner about 6 hours ago. Did everything correct. Approved recipe, correct headspace, clean the jar rims, canned 75 minutes, 2 still not sealed. Any chance they will? After 6 hours? Probably not. Put them in the fridge. Have them for dinner.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're having them for dinner for the next 2 days.
Seriously. Stupid. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Will it be okay to leave?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Okay.
Sorry.
Like canned pizza.
How does ink come out of a pen?
Okay, so will it be okay to leave canned food in my car trunk? I have no room. No, absolutely not.
The weather will make it go bad.
You'll lose your seal. It'll ruin everything. If you have no room in the house, stop canning or get rid of stuff in the house. Because I guarantee you that if I came into your house, I'd find room, but you would be missing knick-knacky crap that doesn't matter. Yep. Okay.
No tchotchkes for me.
Nope. How can I stop my onion powder from clumping? Darcy?
Don't use it over your stove. That's the biggest problem, is that people will, you shake it up over the steam coming up all your pots, and that steam is getting up into your powder and it dries and it clumps. That's the best way to stop it. Then you can use a moisture absorber in it. You can put it in your oven or your dehydrator on not heat, but like a warmed oven turned off, or just in a low heat on your dehydrator, let it dry out again. You can't, I'm trying to remember all the ways that there's arrowroot powder if you want to mix it in there. Like some people don't like to because it can affect some things that you're putting your onion powder into because it's a thickener. But I have a post on my website called 5 ways to keep to stop your powders from clumping, you can go there because I'm not remembering all of them right off the top of my head. But yeah, those are the biggest things. I mean, your biggest culprit is that the jar that you're storing it in is not airtight, so it allows moisture in, and you're using it over your stove, which is certainly putting moisture in it.
Mm-hmm. Please guide how we can pack fried foods ready to eat, like French fries or potatoes. You cannot.
Flash freeze them and put them in the freezer.
They're not ready to eat.
Well, yeah.
I guess there's a definition.
Oh, ready to eat, like you've already cooked the French fries?
No, I guess that could be the definite. My ready to eat is that they're ready to eat.
Well,
but you
have to heat them up.
Freeze them, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's it. Can I steam canned peach butter made from canned peaches? If you can find the approved time and information in, the powers that be, okay? Okay, vacuum sealing bags of flour is great. It does not allow stuff to get in there. It is not long-term storage. It will last 2 years. It will start to go rancid. And 2 years is a really generous guesstimate, you guys. Darcy, would you recommend freeze dryer from your experience using it?
I only have one. I can't afford to go buy a bunch of different freeze dryers and test them out the way I can dehydrators. I have a Harvest Right. It works fine.
How about you?
Anna has don't you have a cube, Anna?
Yeah, I have a cube. My husband is the one who uses it mostly, and he was obsessed with it.
I'm watching it, and he's obsessed with it. It's funny.
It's
constantly running. Yep. Our power is out all night for upgrades from 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. I can't start anything till tomorrow. That happened here too. They're doing that around the country. Can I mix beef bones and poultry bones together to make bone broth? Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen here because they're not upgrading our power.
No, because they're going to pour diesel fuel over your spinny things. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Field carrots are carrots that can't be sold because
they're wonky carrots.
Yeah.
Wonky.
They're ugly.
They're wonky.
Everybody's going to walk around ugly now. Okay. Can I use my steam canner to preserve I already answered that, so it's being asked twice. Okay. Best practices say wash jars and keep them in the water bath canner until ready to fill. Many keep the clean jars in the oven. No. Please do not put them in the oven because they're not made for dry heat. Very simple. I have eaten sweet potatoes raw, grated with mayo. Delish.
Great.
Anna, she's making sauerkraut every week. I get some mold on top of the plate holding the cabbage down. Is that still okay?
Depends. I mean, it's probably fine if you want to scrape it off and put it in the fridge. It depends on what color it is. I would not continue the fermentation. And if it were me personally, I would not consume it because I have a mold sensitivity. So I won't consume anything that has begun to mold, but some people don't have an issue with it. A lot of people out there do it. But I probably wouldn't, and I think I'm going to stop recommending that people do that after the the course that I took over the weekend about microbiology and food preservation or in food production. Those mycotoxins are fierce, man. I would say I wouldn't because it'll spread the mycotoxins and it'll spread throughout, and you're never going to get rid of it.
I like that. I don't know if there's a new current approved canning recipe for chicken stew or chicken pot pie. If they are, they're in the ball books. I don't know if they're new. How's that? There are recipes in the ball book. So you'd have to dig them out. And yeah, I mean,
by new meaning like novel, or new meaning making sure that they're still approved?
Yeah, or hoping there's a new one out there that is approved now that didn't used to be, maybe.
Oh.
No, that's the same thing.
Okay.
They have recipes in the ball books for those two things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would go with. One thing you wish you knew when you started canning.
The dog
that my canner's not going to blow up.
I was never worried about my canner blowing up.
I was terrified.
Hey,
first
Coco.
6 times that I used it, I hid behind a pillar.
I think the first thing I ever canned, I was a little concerned about killing my husband, but I got over it really quick. Hey. Okay, sorry guys. They're messing around out there. Okay,
that I'm not gonna kill my family, which is the thing that was always holding me back. That I was gonna screw up.
But if you follow the process,
Yes, but I had to get over that part. That's the
Yeah.
part I had to jump over and actually do it.
yeah. And I've seen the way you drive, so literally, you are at more danger in your car than
You just see me
standing.
how I yell at people when I drive.
Oh my gosh, vicious. Okay. How do you keep up with the harvest? Freezers.
I don't. I let it rot.
And that too. I mean, literally, I can't tell you the quantity of green tomatoes that I yanked out. I was not messing with them this year. Yeah.
My electric seat works when my car's turned off, apparently.
I don't. The ball book, I thought it was a little high. I don't understand that.
That's for some of the tomatoes before. Ignore the temperatures. When you get in those books like that, learn a little lower is always better. It's going to take a little bit more time, but it's better. So don't go high with fruits. Don't go high with veg.
Darcy, let's talk about time for dehydrating. Can you use lower temps for dehydrating and just add time?
Use a lower temp for dehydrating and dry it until it's dry. Ignore your time. Your time's probably going to go extend out, but don't worry about the time. Just let it dry.
Except meat.
You worry about the time?
No, I said except meat.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Any proteins, yes, have to be kept at higher temperatures, but for regular fruit and veg and everything else, you can drop it as low as you want.
What can you do with green cherry tomatoes? They had to pick them before they ripened.
Do you make
chickens?
What?
Salsa verde.
Oh my gosh, you can pickle carrots and they are crazy good.
You can ferment them too. They're just.
Mm-hmm. Can you use store-bought broth or bouillon powder in cubes that have salt?
Or what?
Yeah. We need the whole question there. There's potato flakes unexpected. Pardon me. Okay. How do you rehydrate cucumbers for making tzatziki?
Go watch my video on making tzatziki with dehydrated cucumbers. It's on YouTube.
It's a good video. I liked it.
Yes.
I saw that one.
I use the freeze-dried ones, and they rehydrate the same. Yeah, the same.
Yeah, I don't really. It depends on how my sauce is. If my sauce is really watery, I don't bother.
No.
But if you need to, just put it in some water. It's not a big deal.
It doesn't take a lot.
No.
And honestly, the sour cream would probably do it. It's so good. Judy got beef for $4.99 a pound. She's canning it as we speak. Is there a recipe technique to duplicate Clausen pickles?
To get them that crispy?
Ferment them.
I have no idea. A ranch dressing powder. I just made raw culture sour cream and think ranch dip dressing in it would be good.
Mm-hmm. I do on my website. If you go look up dehydrated English cucumbers, on my website, there is a recipe for ranch dressing that's in there that is a cucumber ranch dressing that you could use.
Okay. Is there a food safe recipe for pressure canning beef-filled tamales? No.
No. Can't can them.
There, I mean, and this is where we have to, let's rein in our goofy expectations, you guys, okay? Because not everything belongs in a jar. Literally.
I don't know. Have you ever bought jarred tamales from the store?
I have. Yep.
Gross,
for the freezer ones, yeah.
But when you're just desperate for something.
No, I prefer the freezer ones. So, yeah, we're good. Mm-hmm. Somebody wants to know what goat meat tastes like.
Oh,
Feet.
I like it.
Did you
Tastes
say
like feet.
feet? It does not taste like feet.
I like it.
It's disgusting.
It's a little more gamey than what you're used to for like store-bought meats.
Oh my
like
God.
it.
What
If
are you?
by
What are
gamey,
you? Are you
mean
getting a
toe
ram
jam,
or
sure.
something? It's a. Are you getting the male one?
No.
Really?
Just all goat meat tastes like toe jam. It's awful.
I think because the only time I really have it is in tamales, or because we have a restaurant here that does a lot of goat meat Mexican food, and I think that's probably why I like it, because it's in something else, so it doesn't have that stronger flavor because it's been stewed or long cooked for a while. But I like it.
You can use that for canning with or without salt. Doesn't matter. It's your preference whether you want salt. Okay.
So the cube stuff, does it not have a thickener in it that you're not supposed to use?
Not that I'm
Or does it
aware.
not matter? Okay.
Yeah. There's probably more of a thickener and better than bouillon, honestly. Have you made apple brandy?
Yes.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
I learned this past week that grapes are acidic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sharing. I did not know that, and I felt like somebody was setting my insides on fire with acid from grapes. Oh man, that sucked.
Because you had a lot of them.
I did.
You had a lot.
I did eat a lot of grapes. It's my grape season of life where they are big and they snap like a good hot dog, right? And they're juicy. And so, yeah.
You're comparing grapes to a snapping
That
hot
snap.
dog?
Yeah. If you get a good hot dog that's got that casing on it and it snaps when you bite it. Yeah. I'm telling you, it was
This
good.
is my first grape season I'm missing. I'm sad about it, but oh well.
I'm sorry. Please. Oh, okay. Using a pressure canner is no more scary than an Instant Pot.
It is when you're first starting.
I don't know. The Instant Pot kind of freaked me out because
it
locks up on you and you can't. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I'm seeing
air
this.
dry or dehydrate herbs.
Your preference. I dehydrate them because it's just easier. I can't hang them in my house because we have 1,000 pets and dander is a big issue. So I prefer to put them in the dehydrator on the lowest possible setting that you can get. But I know a lot of people like to air dry because it keeps a little bit more flavor and you don't have to run anything.
Yeah, this time of year, I'm all about, I'm dealing with flies.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get in where it's warm.
Yeah.
And so every time I got attacked by a Japanese beetle today. It bit my arm. So because we warmed up, we've been freezing. Literally this morning it was 35 degrees when I left the house at 6 o'clock this morning. And now it is 72. And so the Japanese beetles woke up and they're attacking. But the flies are trying to get in the house. I don't want flies on anything. I hate flies. Darcy, I received your book this week, My Dehydrator. And My Dehydrator, I am now armed and dangerous.
Awesome. Have fun with it.
The homestead we bought has a massive 2-room root cellar, and there are over 1,000 jars with food still in them. Been sitting there for 15 to 20 years. How do I get the rusted lids off and clean?
Oh, I wouldn't.
I would just throw them all away.
Seriously, if the lids are not coming off, you're not going to get them off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
which is a bummer.
Yourself.
That's a bummer if you can't get if you can get the rings off, then empty the jars, bleach the snot out of them, okay, and bury that stuff, throw it out. But if you can't get the lids off, don't.
You're just gonna break it, and then you're gonna deal with a bunch of broken glass.
Yeah.
That's what I mean about hurting yourself, is that you're gonna end up breaking it and cut yourself.
Yeah, but I am huge jealous about the 2-room root cellar.
Yeah. I don't care about the jars, but the root cellars would be awesome.
Yes, you can use your outdated bouillon. It's a Best Buy date. It's not an expiration date. What is the difference for freeze drying versus dehydrating? I looked up and dehydrator pops up.
You want to go for it, Anna? Or do you want me?
What is the difference between freeze drying versus dehydrating? I look up and dehydrator pops up. Well, basically you're using heat to remove the moisture versus cold, right?
Yeah. So in a dehydrator, sorry, I thought you stopped. Go.
Oh, go. And then you're freezing the freeze-dried stuff, and you're doing it at low temperatures, so you're preserving a lot of the nutrients and a lot of the vitamins and minerals and active bacteria and stuff like that. You're preserving it in that, whereas with the dehydrated stuff, you're heating it. You're heating it to remove the moisture.
But you can still keep all the enzymes and stuff if you keep it down below 115, so you're not losing those same things. But it's sublimation that takes the moisture out of the frozen stuff. And it does end up heating it at the end, but you've already preserved everything and frozen it beforehand. But with dehydrating, it's just straight air movement and heat that removes moisture. So, and it shrinks versus freeze dried does not shrink. So
it does, and it takes up a lot of space.
It does.
I have a bunch of fresh peaches that I got earlier this year. Have them to get the pits out and then vacuum seal them before freezing. Can those still be used for canning? I mean,
yeah,
they can, but they're not going to be the texture is going to be even softer.
Yeah, because you've already broken down all the fibers from freezing them.
So they'd be good for jams, that kind of thing. But would I can frozen peaches? Probably not, because they'd be mushy. Bum. See, Doreen Crawford loves the big juicy hot dog grapes. Okay.
Anna's getting hot.
Is Anna
No, my
getting
phone
hot?
battery's about to die.
Oh, okay.
The charger doesn't work without the car being started.
Buco amounts of apples. Not sure what they are, but they are crisp and tart. Those are great pie apples. Crisp and tart are perfect pie apples.
But I will also, because I do everything, I will also shred those and dehydrate them and use them in oatmeal and stuff.
I knew I forgot to do something. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't mean shred. I'm going to say, I keep saying shred, but there's not another good word for it. I don't mean shred like on a grater, but I use my my veggie chopper on the smallest square that it has, and then do it that way. And so they come out looking like big. They're not really dices though. Oh. They're really tiny. Well, they're really small compared to what a typical.
They're really small dices.
Yeah, they're in. So that's what I do with a lot of apples of all kinds, like from tart to sweet, and they're perfect to add into muffins and oatmeal and all that kind of stuff.
So I thought you shredded them like hash browns.
You can do that if you want to. I prefer just a little bit more bite than a shred.
Gotcha.
But I've got to come up with a different word for it because people get confused by that. I just call them shreds because they look like shreds. So
small bites.
Siphoning happens. So it's
you need to share it, Lisa. You need to share it like shit happens. Siphoning happens.
Siphoning happens. Yeah, it's one of those things that happens. So it could be the product. It could be the headspace is wrong. It could be the temperature fluctuated. It could be the moon is not in alignment with my left toe. It could be any number of things. I actually have a video in my on my channel about siphoning. Check it out, see if it helps. But siphoning happens. If that's the worst thing that happens to you, you're golden. Use tin snips. Let's see. I had an old Ronco dehydrator. Oh yeah. Hang on. Oh, look at I hit the bottom. Darcy, is the word you're looking for julienne? No.
No. Not really.
It's little. It's literally little tiny cubes.
But they're not cubes. They're longer. But they're not julienne either.
Well, they're longer because of the width of the apple trunk.
Right. Yeah. So they're just small, tiny little pieces of apple. So
tiny pieces of apple. Oh, I missed that one here. Did you start working on the base for the hot? No, I did not. I read it and I went, nobody in this house is going to eat it, and bless you. I love you for it.
There's a question. Oh, sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I'm sorry. I jumped in.
Keepers, Darcy.
I know. I'm just all over it today.
I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry. Jen Fizz, you asked about the UCCE Eldorado Master Preservers Group. It is not an extension group, but it is a master preserving group based out of, where are they from? El Dorado County in California?
Yeah. They
are perfectly fine to follow. That was a question from a long time ago that we missed.
I had a bunch of Granny Smith apples that were about to go bad, so I peeled, sliced, and put them into salt water to keep them from browning, and then dehydrated in rings. I never use salt water, but I do water. No, they could be like matchsticks, but that's not their intention. It's just the width of the apple.
You can use salt to keep it, to acidify it the same way you use lemon juice to keep it from browning.
Wouldn't it make it salty?
I don't think so. You're not soaking them in it forever, but I don't think it makes it salty enough to be a big deal. But
no, you guys, it's literally a teeny tiny cube from a very thin apple that makes it long. It doesn't matter.
It's just a small piece.
That's going to be the one thing taken away from today's chat. What are Darcy's apples called?
I'm trying to see if I can find if they're.
I could go dig it, but I don't want to. So yeah, okay.
Oh, seriously, guys, it doesn't matter.
No,
man, there's all those good. That's what's going to come away from it today. Is hold on.
Just stop. Okay. Whew, look at that. I caught up. How's it going, Anna?
It's going great. How about you?
You know, living the dream. I hired somebody to help, and they yanked out all of my strawberry plants out of my strawberry bed because they weren't producing anything. My God, they had to use a shovel. It took them 2 hours.
Oh,
All right.
it was intentional.
Oh yeah, it was intentional. Yeah, I'm.
Okay.
I'm
Never
gonna.
mind. Don't fire them then.
No, I'm gonna plant garlic in there now.
That sounds delightful.
Oh, I've got
I found a spot in the shade
for garlic that needs sun.
for my car that I'm sitting in right now. It made me happy.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Sorry, I forget that other people are not inside my head and don't
I
understand.
know. I know. We're not sharing. We're not sharing that brain space. I have a ton of hot peppers that I froze as they came in this summer. Can I dehydrate or ferment them? I don't know how to use them other than hot sauce.
Yeah.
You can dehydrate.
You can. And
So
you
you
can
can
ferment.
dehydrate them and you can make hot sauce or ferment them?
Yeah. I mean, you
Okay.
can't dehydrate them then make.
No,
Make
but you can ferment them.
You can do either one. Yeah. Oh, that you froze. No, I missed that part. No, don't do that.
You can dehydrate them, yeah.
Okay, so no,
I
you
missed
cannot
the
ferment
frozen part,
frozen produce.
How come you can't?
because there's nothing there that kills freezing kills bacteria.
Okay.
You need the germs.
Okay.
And it breaks it down. I mean, you might be able to if you add a starter culture to it, and since the end product is going to be a sauce anyways, you give it a try. I mean, you'll know if it goes wrong because it's going to mold and it's going to be putrid. But go into it knowing there's a chance it won't work.
Lane, no, you cannot can it. Dehydrate it.
Mm-hmm. Or freeze dry
Dehydrate it or freeze dry it.
You can ferment it too.
You can ferment celery. There you go. If you're going to do that, please be careful and wear an N95 mask and safety glasses because you don't know what may be growing in that jar and you don't want to inhale it.
Valid.
I agree.
Absolutely. Oh, we're making ACV. Do I need to use a weight to submerge the peels?
It's ideal, but you don't have to. But it could mold if you don't.
Yeah.
Everybody I know is making that right now. And I'm like, I got no place to put it.
Yeah, I've given up on trying because I always forget about it. And
yeah. I froze most of our tomato harvest this year. Would I be better off dehydrating or canning? Or does it matter?
How do you plan on using it later? That would matter. But yes, you can dehydrate it. But when you thaw it, it's going to break down. So it's best like chopped up in big chunks, the best that you can, or to like puree it and make tomato powder for it.
Yep. Stacking the jars.
If you're going to can it, you can thaw it and make sauce, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can do frozen. You can freeze tomatoes until you have enough to process. So yeah. Stacking canned mason jars, don't. If you decide that you absolutely must do it, put a nice piece of corrugated cardboard between the two layers. Do not go more than 2 layers. And that is largely because I don't know anybody that won't knock them over. Okay. So just don't go higher than 2. Can you dehydrate celery? Yes. And yes, they should be blanched, shouldn't they? Because
it's
otherwise,
recommended.
Yeah.
But it falls under if you eat it raw, you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, you'll lose color. And when you rehydrate them to use in cooking, they tend to be a little harder than if you had blanched it in the first place. So
I have gotten to the point where if I use celery for anything other than fresh, I am just going to powder it because you can never get it back to. And it doesn't matter whether it's freeze dried or dehydrated. Seriously. 2 old apples, just applesauce. I never made it, but I heard that works for old apples. I mean,
too old. What do you mean by like, are they bruised and soft? I might not even want to make applesauce out of really bad apples, but.
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on what too old means to you, you know? How do you dehydrate smooth applesauce in a dehydrator?
You use a lip tray. You can make one from fruit leather sheets or from parchment paper. Well, I might not use parchment paper if it's really liquidy, but you just turn up the corners and kind of fold them on themselves and put a paper clip on there or a bulldog clip and make corners so that you have your own little lip tray, or you can get lip trays off of Amazon, and it holds in all the liquid.
It's okay to stack mason jars that have freeze-dried food in it, sure. But again, I wouldn't go more than 2 high just out of basic stuff's going to fall over, you know? So, but yeah, you can, you're not worried about a seal when it's freeze dried or dehydrated. And yes, you can use tomato powder to make tomato paste.
Yes, you can. It's what I do all the time.
Uh-huh.
That's all tomato powder is just concentrated concentrated tomato, and the when you're putting water into it, less water is paste, more water is sauce.
Has anybody made homemade root beer?
No.
Okay. Cherry tomatoes are going to give you a different taste. They're sweeter typically than other tomatoes, so otherwise use them. Darcy, what about dehydrating broccoli or cauliflower? Blanch?
Yes, because you will lose all the color and it will have a different texture after always blanch them.
Darcy, is there a way to make dehydrated meat shelf stable?
To make it meat shelf stable, no. Can it be shelf stable? Depends on the meat, but it's never reliably shelf stable. So you can put it on the shelf, but nobody can tell you an exact time of how long it's going to last because it'll depend on how much fat is in it and how much fat you got out of it. And it can last for 2 months, and it can last for, mine is going on 19 months now. So you don't know. Yes, Anne?
By that, you just mean that it will go rancid? Or
it will go rancid.
Okay.
It can go rancid. It's not reliable.
Yeah.
You can't, nobody can tell you when that's going to happen, which is why we say it's not reliably shelf stable.
Then should you thaw out frozen green beans before you dehydrate them?
No, but hopefully you blanched them before you froze them.
Okay, it is 3:55 in Michigan. It's 2:55 wherever you guys are. Yep. So, anybody got anything interesting on your way out?
No.
Don't consume raw flour. It's got salmonella and E. coli. You're going to die.
Pretty much given.
That's the cookie dough controversy. Everybody always thought it was eggs, and it's not the eggs.
It's the flour. It's not the eggs.
Yeah.
Don't follow TikTok trends.
For the love of God, don't do anything food-wise off of TikTok. Okay. Is sassafras oil carcinogenic?
That's what they tried to say, but they used like massive quantities, like beyond any comprehension, to be able to show that. So, I mean, if you consume like a gallon of it, maybe like 5 gallons of it, I don't know what form it comes in, but if you consume an unreasonable quantity of it over time, it can possibly. But in a reasonable amount, it's more medicinal than anything.
I recommend Darcy's book. Check out her website. She's got a really good book about dehydrating. Highly recommended.
But there are others, and I've got a post.
No, we just recommend Darcy. Yep. Has anybody freeze-dried fresh sauerkraut?
I have not yet.
I have not. I'm going to do kimchi soon, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that idea. The rice in the jar with the onion powder, kind of like with salt.
It can work. It does not pull enough as much moisture out of it as moisture absorbers will, because they just are stronger and will work better. But it also helps. It's a good. It breaks up things. It keeps that way. Words are not my thing today.
Okay, so everybody have a super fantastic day. Thank you for joining us on our monthly food preservation chat. And
Super duper.
Super duper. And what is it that you say, Anna, on the way out the door?
Peace out.